So fast forward 21 years, 20 years, my son, Sean, who's now a naval officer, was in uniform and he re-enlisted me for my final time underneath the same banyan tree that I was pinned to chief.
I, you know, what's so fun about that? Besides the cyclical, besides just the full circle, you've always had that eye for doing things that are just freaking meaningful, right? And when people don't know the whole storyline behind it, if you get the chance to break it down, people are just like, "Oh my god!" Like you put that much thought into it, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I did." But that's who you are, bro. You speak
Yeah.
Japanese. You have that. And look, to be a good CMC, in my opinion, you have to have that eye. You got to be able to brand it. You got to be able to sell it to people why this matters and why it's important. And it's not about you. It's about the people that are going to see that storyline and appreciate it, right? You're not just a CMC retiring. You're a sailor who has a family that's multicultural, who now has a son who's a naval officer,
Yeah.
who's freaking there re-enlisting you. Like, if you can't, that's America, bro. Like, not only is that America, but that's FDNF, like two extreme levels. And when I say that, it's because I'm super loyal to FDNF because I love the communities that support our sailors overseas and their family, especially in Japan. I remember when Tomodachi happened and how hard that was and that on that community and how hard it was for everybody and watching them rally. And they've always been there for our community whenever we needed them. And I hope that we're always there for them when they need us, right? That partnership. And I feel like that's a great representation of how that blending of those two cultures came together. And your son is the epitome of what we would like to see going forward. God knows what he'll do with it, right? Like, who knows, right? It's up to him. God bless. Go do great things. But you created a life, and every human wants that for their kids, right? They want to see their kids. I told my students the other day, I said, look, if you don't try to do better than your parents did in life, you drop the bag, bro. Like, it's not their job to get you to do better. You should want to pick up the bag and say, I got it, Dad. Let me
Yeah.
run. And I remember when I told my dad, I was like, I love you, but I saw every mistake that you made. And my commitment to you is I'm not going to make the same mistakes. Done. He was like, that's good, bro. Like, what else could I ask for?
Sure.
Because you're gonna leverage my experience to go out and make your life great. So you come through Chiefs initiation, you put on anchors, ATG. How many years do you have in the Navy at that point?
8.
Did you know yet you wanted to go to the command program?
No, I will be honest with you. I was deathly afraid when I made chief. I made chief in 2003. I've been in the Navy 8 years, 2 sea commands, and then on shore duty. And so when I made chief, one, my season was a lot different too. I was beat down a lot. I was the youngest. I was 26 years old, and I was 8 years in the Navy. So of the 31 chief selects, not only was I the youngest of them, I was also the least amount of time in service. And so I'm not saying I had a bad experience. I'll never tell anybody I had a bad experience. What I'll tell people of my experience of initiation, it's just a different experience than when other people went through. But I struggled. My wife was pregnant, third kid at the time, young 26-year-old. And then everyone was telling me during my initiation how I'm not going to be a good chief because I was too young and I didn't have experience. So there was so much going through my head. And then it was the physical training, the breakfasts. We didn't have teaching to the creed in 2003. Like, the seasons were just put together by people of generational chiefs, senior chiefs, and master chiefs that this is what they think will make a good chief. And so I don't even remember going to training sessions. I did PQS, but the PQS was not like what the PQS is of today.
Yeah.
So it was a very interesting season. And there was absolutely a kangaroo court for final night. I went to the hospital twice because I couldn't even move my arms anymore because of the push-ups. And I was told by my sponsor, you better not go light limited duty. Just ask for Motrin. I mean, that's what they told me. And so when I went to medical, I said, you can't give me light limited duty, give me Motrin. Then that's what they did. And so you just figured out how to get through it.
Yep.
Season was just a lot different back then. I'm not telling you it's bad. There was things I learned. There was things I was like, what the hell? That made no sense to me. And then when I got out to my first ship on the Gary, man, I was intimidated. I remember that. It was 2005. I met the ship in Okinawa. They flew me to Okinawa. They got me down to White Beach, Okinawa. And the ship was anchored out the Gary. And I had my sea bag. I was a chief at the time. I get on the boat, the rib. They bring me up to the Gary. They took the line. They pull up my sea bag. they brought me right into the chief's mess on a frigate, FFG 51, USS Gary. And it was right after lunch had secured by the time I got on the ship. And if you've ever been on a frigate, the chief's mess is very small. There's a little lounge area, then the little eating area, and then the berthing was behind it. And they gave me a cold cheeseburger, and all or majority of the chiefs sat around and just started looking at me. And they're like, eat. I'm already a chief. You know what I mean? It's so different than what it is today. Man, was I intimidated. Like, what am I going to be a good chief or am I be a bad chief? My HT1 and other people had more time in service than I did. And there was a loyalty to the chief that I relieved that led differently than how I was going to lead based off my experience and how I was brought up in the Navy. And so we got through the turnover, and then, my HT1 was rough behind the edges.